Tied up in a knot there, haven't you? Are you watching yet? Anybody out there watching? Hello, hello. Can you see me now? Can you see the sign language? This means hey.
I can see you over here.
Do what?
I see you on my Facebook.
Oh, can you? So we're live now?
We're live.
Oh, then I've got to behave?
What's that?
I have to behave now?
You have to behave now. Well, you never behave, so what difference does it make?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's 7 o'clock. That's what the clock on the wall says. The old clock on the wall says is 0700
That's
local
what all
time.
mine say, too. 700.
Good morning. It's a chilly morning out there, but not as cold as it has been, not as cold as it's going to be. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Lee Barrows.
And Kelly is, she's wrapped up somewhere, freezing to death, no doubt.
It's a little chilly out this morning.
Then she's got herself an appointment this morning, so she's gonna go see the doctor of warmth.
Well, I hope she brings back some of that with her.
Yeah. Well, it got a little bit chilly over the weekend, down early morning yesterday at 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. here back at this hacienda, right outside over there in the wooded area. It was 22 degrees. It's now 28.
Yeah.
And our little thing out there that Robbie calls the dome, and I've calling it the dome as well now, wrapped up some kind of greenhouse material, wrapped over some PVC with 4 little heat lamps and a heater comes on as needed. Keeps the temperature up pretty close to 50 degrees, even on the coldest of evenings.
I'm going to tell you what, this going from fall for a week and into the dead coldness
It's cold.
of winter.
And winter is not here yet.
I know it. Not until what, December 22nd, I think it is.
Something like that. Anyway, it was a chilly night. A chilly night on Friday. Not cold. We're down to 43 degrees or something at game time. I mean, at the end of the game.
The winds picked up a little bit enough
a little bit of a breeze to blow up the pants leg and just like, whoa, don't do that.
Yeah, our heated stadium seats worked very, very good.
Yeah,
except for our legs got cold.
Yeah, well, we're going to fix that one now.
Yes.
You know, they got heated, they look like big ponchos, too. They call them a heated blanket, stadium blankets.
Well,
you can wrap up in that, too.
Well, I'm definitely getting one.
Uh-huh.
Because I'll tell you what, by the end of the game, my feet and legs were so cold.
They just need some plug-ins like they have at the airport.
You can
plug stuff in. We need to be able to plug an electric blanket in or something.
Well, I tell you, they came in very handy. They were great to have. We learned a few things about
the seats
them.
Were,
about the battery and how to conserve and
buy a spare.
Yes, buy a spare. That's what I'm doing.
Anyway, the Jacksonville High Cardinals hosted the Colts of Cape Fear High out of Fayetteville in the third round of playoffs Friday night. It was a scare in the beginning. Colts came out and within short order. What was it, 4 or 5 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes into the game, they scored.
Then Jacksonville turned around and scored back.
Yeah, then you got up to a 14-14 type thing there for a while. And then it was over after that. But I got to give kudos to both teams. They fought really hard.
Cape Fear was awesome.
They were awesome. No wonder they're in the playoffs. And the higher we go up in the playoffs, the tougher the teams are going to be. And I mean, they did a great job. Jacksonville's Cardinals did a magnificent job of containing containing the defenders. I've been touting those defenders all season, but they did a marvelous job keeping the Colts under control as best they could. So they did a great job.
They did do good.
Into the game. I knew it was over in the last 4 minutes and 55 seconds because we were up by 2 touchdowns.
Right.
But that's not a guarantee. Not 5 minutes left in a ball game as tight as that one was,
Right.
except on the scoreboard. Two TDs and one extra point, one conversion would have made all the difference in the world.
Yes.
So
you never say it's over
when
until it's over.
the defense comes on the field and stomps them, keeps them under control. And they made some marvelous plays. They got a little sloppy there with some of their plays. A really good pass that only gains you 2 yards that's a lot of wasted effort. And
there was a couple passes that
and
got
a couple of them were
and-
intentionally grounded. The referees finally said so on one of them. The second one
That was on Cape Fear.
Yeah, against Cape Fear, but the quarterback was in a pinch and didn't want to fall down way behind the line of scrimmage, get caught back there with the ball. So he chunked it, and there was nobody there except people with red jerseys on.
Right. He kept throwing it over there.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
One of those guys should have just stepped out and, hey, that's an idea. I wonder if they just don't put 11 people on the field, put 10 out there. If somebody could step onto the field right at the edge after the play starts, in case the ball was thrown in that direction, could just reach up there and grab it.
I don't know. There was
I'm guaranteed there's some rules
couple
out there.
heavy penalties thrown during the game, and but I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with the way Jacksonville's playing.
Yep,
They
did good.
impressed.
They did really well.
And I will tell you, the last couple games they have played some great teams, and Cape Fear came out strong, and I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that one was one to fear going into it. As a result of the Cardinals' decisive win Friday, the Birds will truck on over to Havelock this Friday for round number 4. We'll talk more about the game and the upcoming rematch with Havelock a little later in the show with the Jacksonville Daily News sports editor, Chris Miller, a little later this morning.
Yes, and I have some questions for him.
Good.
That are not high school, but I have one in particular.
Okay.
I gotta figure. I want to hear about this one.
Anyway, the final score Friday night, in case you missed it, because I don't think we said it, 28-14.
I thought it was 24-14.
That was no.
Did I fall asleep?
I guess you quit counting. My fingers and toes are frozen. As soon as you get it straight, I will continue.
No, you go right ahead.
The big news over the weekend, top story most everywhere, and so many Americans are shocked. I say shocked.
Shocked. I was
what
like,
do we have here?
No, none. So you can get it to guess for.
Let's see.
Yep.
Do we have somebody? Hello.
I'm really bothered by Joe Biden.
Why?
Pardoning. Well, he pardoned Hunter.
Yes, why? Why are you bothered by that?
Because I think 6 months back he said, regardless of the outcome, whatever the jury says, I'm going to stand by it.
I think what the jury said. Now, the jury said he was guilty, and he stood by that. He did not interfere with that election, with that trial at all. He stayed out of that trial. Right?
But why would he pardon him?
Well, what would you do if you were the president of the United States and you have a son and he's up there on those things? He's 40-some years old, 50 years old, and his rest of his life is going to be ruined anyway. What would you do? Would you want him to go down in history and die with a criminal conviction, a federal criminal conviction against him?
Hey, do you guys remember a few months back when I brought up the crime bill that Joe Biden introduced, I believe, in 1994?
Yeah.
There was a crime bill that said if you're caught with crack cocaine, you're going to be sentenced to a minimum of 10 years in prison. His son was caught with crack cocaine, but he goes free. But Joe Biden sent so many black men to jail in the 90s because they did crack cocaine.
Yeah. Does that make him racist?
I think so. You know,
I was just going to ask you a loaded question, but yes, that makes him racist to me.
Did you guys get a chance to watch that brilliant female newscaster on CBS? She came out a couple days ago where she said they had all this information on Hunter Biden's laptop where he was using the N-word with a hard R.
Oh,
They
yeah.
talked about all these emails with Joe Biden, and CBS said, "Listen, you know what? I just don't think there's enough there." And she basically came out and said, "Listen, there's stuff on this story. Hey guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna call you back again if you let me call in. Can I call back again?"
Yeah, if we're not too busy, go ahead. Bye. See you.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Well, you were right, 28-14.
Okay.
I think it was the game before it was 24-14, wasn't
The
it?
year before, or the week
24.
before, it was
I don't
30 to
remember.
14. 30 to 24. Us on top then.
God, it seemed like a month ago.
No.
All right, 28-14, that was the correct score.
There you go.
And that's right, because we figured 2 touchdowns would have tied it
Mm-hmm.
somewhat. Yeah, okay, you're right. Oh, what I was thinking.
The first son will not be going to prison. In fact, he won't have a criminal record for anything.
Yeah.
See, this is what gets me, not just for those 2 things he was convicted of. He won't have a criminal record for anything he's been convicted of, accused of, or anything he did for 11 years between 1 January 2014 and the end of this year, 31 December 2024. So it matters not what he's done. And even if he's arrested for it, because there's no statute of limitations on felonies, I think federal felonies anyway. Anyway, even if he's arrested for it 5 years from now, he can't be charged with it. He can't be convicted of it because he's been pardoned forever. He's been given a free ride.
Well, my understanding is that he has gone through rehab and
Several times, right?
trying to make a better person of himself.
Several
And
times
he
said
says
that, right?
that he's going to continue helping people
Oh, yeah.
and giving
Drug dealers?
back.
Come buy some more dope from the drug dealers?
Hey. I have issues on both sides with this.
He was convicted on 2 felony firearms charges earlier this year, but as of last night, following Daddy Biden's early return to the White House over the weekend, he won't have to pay for any crimes he committed during that time or up through the end of this year. He can go out and rob a bank today.
And his past indiscretions don't count.
They don't count. But I mean, even today, because he is pardoned for any crimes that he committed up until the 31st of December this year. He's got 3.5 weeks to go do anything he wants. How would you like to have that ability? Would you like to be able to go out and commit any crime that you wanted to commit these days? Oh my goodness. Where's that armored car?
Well, yeah, go ahead and stock up on all your crack.
Yeah, get plenty of, well, no, possession of it after December 31st is a felony. But whatever he does between now and the end of this month, this is advance pardoning a guy. How do you do that? Y'all forget about all the stuff he's already done. That's standard operating procedure. But pardoning him in advance?
Well, he was supposed to be sentenced on December 12th for the federal gun charges.
Yeah, well,
So
that wasn't
that's
ever
done.
going to happen.
Right. And then he was also set to be sentenced on December 16th in a separate criminal case in which he pled guilty to federal tax evasion.
So he's got 2 federal charges against him that
Yes.
he's guilty of, but he's not going to be punished for them. And all of that stuff is wiped off his record.
Well, do you think after Biden repeatedly kept saying he would not do this, he did this as
Who is surprised
payback.
by that?
It's a payback to the Democratic Party
No.
for their little coup and
So-
ousting him.
The lame duck president said he kept his promise not to interfere with his son's trial.
Okay.
That's what the president said.
Oh.
He mentioned nothing about his campaign baloney about not pardoning his son because he was asked outright, straight up, if he's convicted, are you going to pardon him? No.
That's right. That's what he
In
said.
issuing the pardon, a White House statement said the elder Biden thought Hunter was singled out for severe prosecution simply because he was the president's son, claiming that no one else has been charged or convicted of the crimes he did, mainly lying on a federal form about his cocaine dependency. Who among you ever thought a daddy, an 82-year-old daddy with Biden's power, which is short-lived, would let his son spend any time in prison? If you ever thought that was going to happen, you were fooling yourself and nobody else. Would you have done the same thing? That's my question. What would you have done if you were in Joe Biden's shoes with a son like Hunter? If you say no, you wouldn't have done it, then there probably is some kind of a family history that can't be repaired.
Right.
I mean, there may be something down the line there that's, well, whatever. Republicans, y'all are repulsed. Those who had their heads buried in the sand are repulsed by this. Democrats are confused, surprised that Republicans and some members of the media are reacting as they are.
Well, the one thing that got me is his statement that he believed raw politics had infected the process and it led to a miscarriage of justice. Okay, what about what all
That's
has
how you
been
justify it.
What about Trump?
Mm.
Do you feel like all the charges brought against him and everything that he's gone through was a miscarriage of justice and it was politically motivated?
Mm.
See?
I'll have to agree with the Democrats here. Hopefully, little Biden has seen the light of day now that he's dodged that bullet. But that revolver's got 5 more behind it. He's old enough, and hopefully he's learned his lesson. I guess the intensive investigation, this is something you hadn't thought about, into that cocaine that showed up in the White House will be over. That investigation is one and done, y'all. Even if Hunter's fingerprints were on the dope, he could not be prosecuted.
Oh, it's done and over with. He's go about his business now. Yeah. And I do hope, and I will say this, I really do hope that he's learned from this and he's made changes for the better and he's a better person. Will that happen?
Well, he's got enough maturity behind him now.
Right.
I mean, at least in age, in years, he's mature. How much he's grown up, how much he's gone way above and beyond the lifestyle that he was living, the lavish lifestyle on cocaine. You know, I don't know. Maybe he's got it. I don't have a clue.
Well, you know, we talked about this back before the election. Will he or will he not pardon his son?
Yeah, I'd say he'd pardon. There's not a doubt in my mind he was going to pardon him.
Yep, that was his. I'd like to see who else he's going to pardon.
Well, that will be something else.
But put yourself in his shoes. He's a father. And if you had the ability to pardon your child.
You're 82 years old. What's it going to go down? It's going to hurt you for the rest of your life? All both years of it or whatever?
His politics are done. He's done with politics.
He's headed for the beach in Delaware, sipping whatever he's going to be sipping in the summertime.
Eating ice cream. That's right.
And eating ice cream.
I mean, can you blame him, really?
He's put out to pasture, okay?
See, they wouldn't do this before the election was over because it would have created a political firestorm. It would have
created a problem for Kamala.
That's right.
Before that, of course, for him, but his days were over once he said, "Oh, okay, I'm endorsing Kamala, and you Democrats now have to appoint her."
Well, the thing about it is, I guess it's all who you are and what kind of money you have and what kind of stature you have. Like, if you had a son that was going through the same thing that Hunter was going, how would you feel that Hunter got pardoned and your son doesn't?
Yep, that will be the problem.
Yes, I imagine there's a lot of people around the country that are fuming over that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He earned it as being president, so there's two sides to this.
Mm-hmm. The Marine Outlook for this new week, brand new week, it's December 1st, the 2nd. The 1st for us, the first day of December for us. It's brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. The days are going to continue getting shorter for another 3 weeks. Then slowly, ever so slowly, we'll begin to experience an earlier sunrise and a later sunset. Might just be a minute or so per day, hardly noticeable. Shorter days can have an impact on people. Yep, this is a thing. Long hours of darkness have a way of causing a decreased mood, increased fatigue, and even depression. Reduced amounts of sunlight can result in what experts call called a seasonal affective disorder. Factory workers who have no access to sunlight during the daylight hours often experience similar effects. A lot of factory workers go through the same thing, and there are a lot of efforts made to make it look like it's sun. The office is well lit, the working conditions are well lit in the factory. Some places that have dimmed their lights at nighttime, the workers have paid the price. Symptoms include feelings of sadness, hopelessness, social withdrawal, and changes in appetite and your sleep patterns. Some studies show that there can be an increase in the suicide rate as a result of increased depression, anxiety, isolation, and depressed drive. If you are experiencing these types of problems, there is help available. Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville has counselors who will work with you to develop plans that can help you work through the issues. They'll point out that what you know, longer days are coming, and that they'll help you decide what to do to work through these seemingly dull times. There are so many people that have so much depression around the holidays, Christmas especially. They build up to it. The days are shorter. They get by all of that because you've got Christmas, and then suddenly at noon on Christmas Day, everything is back to normal, right? It's back to normal, except you now have nothing to look forward to. Call to set up a time to meet with a counselor, 910-353-0972, 910-353-0972, Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville, where the counselors actually want to help you deal with whatever issues you're having. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles, cold, dry, high pressure will remain in control across eastern North Carolina. The waters that we have along eastern North Carolina for the next several days, high pressure builds across the waters by midweek. Today, northwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 25 in the morning, seas 3 to 4 feet, occasionally up to 5 feet, except 2 to 3 near shore, 3-foot waves from the northwest every 5 seconds, crossing southeasterly swells of 1 foot every 8 seconds, and that will create a bit of a choppy chop.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sounds and rivers, choppy. Tomorrow, northwesterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25 in the afternoon, seas 3 to 4 feet, occasionally up to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. Problem is getting there. In the near shore conditions of 2 to 3 feet, you got to cross some really sloppy inlet water to get there. Sounds and rivers will be choppy tomorrow. Wednesday, northwesterly winds around 10 knots. They're coming down, becoming westerly in the afternoon, seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop, increasing to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
And today will be sunny with a high near 47, light north wind increasing to 5 to 10 miles per hour in the morning. Winds could gust as high as 16 miles per hour. Tonight, increasing clouds with a low around 24. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 43. Here you go, Rayford. Tuesday night, clear with a low around 18. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 49. So it's going to be a nippy week.
Yeah, it caused a little frost on the pumpkins out there. I can tell you that.
Well, there was some ice on my windshield this morning. So frost.
Need to go get your can of that de-icer if you don't have it in the garage.
Yeah, I have a bottle of it. I buy it by the gallon and pour it in a spray bottle. And then I have to remember to put it in my truck. All I have to do is reach in, spray the windshield, boom, it's done.
Yeah.
And I thank you for that because you brought that up last year.
I found that years ago. And
I went right out and got a gallon.
And I kept my truck outside. Now it wouldn't fit in the garage with the antennas on it. So
yeah.
I've modified.
Well, mine will fit in the garage, but it's just too much because
too much trouble.
It's too much trouble because I don't have an electric garage door, and the problem is I have a doggy door coming from the kitchen into the garage, so I would have to shut the doggy door to make sure the dog doesn't come out while I move the truck.
So you're not gonna get into a warm vehicle in the mornings, is what you're telling me?
I can start it from the house
inside the garage.
House. No, I mean with my truck outside, I can start it.
Well, yeah, outside.
Outside, I don't do that though. I just get in there with the cold seats and hit all the warmers everywhere and.
Just a little math. It's math time.
All right, it's math time. Yeah. Do I need a pen?
Nope.
Okay, good.
What you thinking, Cap on?
Oh, that's not going to work.
We're into the 12th and final month of 2024.
Right.
Right? Get that? There remain 23 days until Christmas, 22 shopping days to go.
Right.
There are 29 days remaining in this most historical year until we move into 2025. 29 days for Hunter Biden to go out
Sure.
and shoplift or do anything else he wants to do.
Buy more Coke.
There remain 49 days for those entertainers, sports figures, and disjointed Democrats to pack their bags and get out of this godforsaken country. Donald J. Trump is marching towards Washington, and when he takes the oath of office on the 20th of January, life in this free nation will end. That's the way some people are feeling. We've heard the threats that so many would move. We heard them 4 years ago. It didn't happen. We've heard them again. It's only happened once. Y'all can consider them threats. I'm considering them contracted promises.
Bye.
So y'all said you were going to do it. Well, if he won, well, he won. So now you're a liar if you don't do it.
Let me ask you this, Rayford. Has it hurt your feelings that somebody may have moved out of the country?
Ellen? No. Goodbye. So what can we do if they just simply refuse to leave? Can we evict them? Can we kick them out?
Unfortunately.
How long can we get eviction papers? They promised us they were going to leave. If somebody promises they're going to be out of a house I'm renting and they don't get out, I can go get papers and evict their butts, can't I?
Yes, you can.
Can we sue them for breach of promise? There would be an interesting suit, wouldn't it? Hey, you
It's a
promise
verbal.
you promise. So what?
It's verbal.
That's a contract. They're held up in
Yeah.
court. They have
Yeah.
held up many times in court.
It's just all talk.
How much can we get from them if they stay, money-wise? Can we get a class action suit against them? Ellen, what's her name? Where is she's going to degenerate?
Degenerous.
Oh,
That was
degenerate.
good, though. Okay, right.
The word is she's going to make good on her promise. Maybe she already has, and I don't know, and I don't care. There are those who are large and in charge in some cities and states here who are going to defy soon-to-be President Trump when he orders his border czar and federal agents to remove the illegal criminals
Sure.
who are not supposed to be here, rounded up and sent packing. Some of those say the police agencies under their commands will not allow the feds to take those criminals. Funny that they'll even protect those same criminals who are in their jails that they arrested for committing other crimes in the United States from being deported. So jail is a sanctuary? You got a sanctuary jail now? Is that what it is? How do they justify that to themselves, to the victims of the criminals, to their constituents? How do you, as a real honest to goodness mayor or governor or other elected official, say, we're not going to turn over these crooks that we've arrested because they're crooks so that the federal government can kick them out? How can they justify that to the victims of these criminals? Or how about the people who elected them? There's this other elephant in the room. Trump's promise to issue a directive to increase tariffs, a federal word meaning taxes, on imports from China, Canada, and Mexico. Well, of course, Walmart, Kmart, and most every other retailer in the United States depends on cheaply produced products from China to stay in business. We all know that. They may have to actually buy better quality products from American companies, may have to pay some more, meaning either they'll have to charge more or earn less money for the big corporations. Those big corporations got lots of money at the top, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Maybe they just won't
They
be able to
cut
make as
back.
much.
They just need to cut back.
Somehow, some way, no one's talking about the other countries that make less expensive products that are overshadowed by China. There are a lot of countries out there that make the same cheap stuff that China makes, but there are no taxes proposed on them. Why isn't Trump targeting them? Because, unlike China, they are not supporting illegal smuggling of children and young women for the illicit sex trade or the production of killer drugs like fentanyl that kill more than 100,000 Americans every year. That's why he's not going after them. Mexico has not only failed to stop the drug cartels from taking the raw product from China and pressing it into killer pills, the country has forever been controlled by the federal police who are controlled by the cartels. Yeah, the National Police Force in Mexico, for you who are just blind, they're run by the cartels. The cartels decide by fear who is going to run the towns, the states, and the country. They kill by the hundreds Mexican citizens, and the federal government does nothing about it. Mexico's new president initially gave some lip service promising to stop illegals from going into the United States. To that, I say, I'll clean it up, baloney. Those illegals, for the most part, are not even Mexicans. They're coming from countries in South and Central America, from communist countries around the world. They're entering Mexico illegally and making their way north to the United States southern border. All of it is against Mexican law. Really? Mexico has a law you can't come into their country illegally, either from the north or from any of those other borders in Central and South America.
Wait. Other countries have that too?
No, we have it. Mexico has it. Mexico has a law against it. Mexico's done nothing to stop it, will not do anything to stop it, because the Mexican government is not in control. The entire country is as bad or worse than Chicago was during the days of notorious gangsters. That city chose to do nothing because the economy in the hands of the gangsters was good and the politicians were crooked. What about Canada? Why is Trump picking on them? It's simple. The drugs may not be coming through Canada, but with lax immigration laws, with skimpy border protection, terrorists are making their way through Canada into the United States. Our government knows it, but like Mexico, we've done nothing for years to stop it. It's time for a wake-up call for this woke nation. By the way, just as a sidebar here, 22% of those coming in across the United States border or trying to come across the U.S. border from Canada are from India.
Whoa.
22%.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are missing a lot. The terrorists are coming in across the northern border. There are the low-life terrorists. They're slipping across the U.S. border on the south end. But those who can fly into Canada, seemingly without a problem, they're the ones coming across the northern border.
Yeah.
So how best to encourage Mexico and Canada to enforce their laws is a simple matter of economics. We will increase the import taxes by 25% until they enforce their own laws and stop the flow of bad elements from their nations into ours. We can use the extra tariffs. We can use all those extra 25% tariffs to increase our own border security, and it will make it tougher for legit travelers from either country to come here. Those who suffer will have no one but their own governments to blame. Good morning, Frank. Long time no hear. How you doing, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm cold this morning. How are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm nice and toasty in here. We got the heat on. It is a little chilly, but outside.
Frank has been really busy taking supplies up to the mountains.
Yeah, I know. I've been reading some of that.
Well, I've made one load. I got another load I'm getting ready to take. I'm gonna have to borrow a bigger trailer or rent one, I guess. Everybody's wanting to donate. Everybody's wanting to do stuff. But they still need a lot of stuff up there. But one of the big problems are the larger distribution points got so much stuff that they don't have the people to separate it in order to get it out to the outlining areas.
That's awful.
But they've still got a lot of problems, and now of course it's snowing up there. But they're getting a lot of help from locals and people from all over the country. Really, going there.
So, what are some of the things that you're collecting to take back up?
Well, what I did is, rather than take my stuff to this large distribution point, which they may end up not using half of it, not half, but some of it. I located a small community, and everything that I take, they use. But what this pastor needing. He wants toys for the kids, trying to give them a Christmas, paper products, baby. I've been collecting propane tanks and the small ones because they use those to, they use it to heat. These are the ones that are getting campers. It's something if they have 2 or 3 of them, they can take and get renewed.
Uh-huh.
So I've been collecting propane tanks and,
So look, the 20-pound bottles is what you're talking about, right?
yeah, or even the 30s,
Okay.
a little bigger. I can handle those, but I don't know. I've got a large amount of stuff right now. Would like to, get toys, basically, for to handle stuff in the truck, the trailer. I'm gonna have to get a larger U-Haul.
Uh-huh.
But they've got a lot of help. Everybody's trying to help. And one church I found, they weren't big enough to distribute stuff, but that started helping people rebuild and build tiny homes. So we donated a bunch of sawzalls and gilded grills and crafting tools. It's gonna be a long, slow process, as everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, we thank you, and we recognize folks like you. And Onslow County has really turned out for this event, this tragic situation.
Yes.
And thanks to people like you who just didn't give up and say, okay, well, you're on your own now. We sent you some stuff. The follow-ups are great. Good for you, Frank. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for
Right.
all you do.
And I want to give a real quick plug. I know you don't like to advertise, but I've got the Sanders Ford help me out. My truck on the way back had a transmission problem.
Oh, boy.
And I went in and talked to Matt Raymond, who's a great guy.
He is a wonderful guy. Community service.
Oh, man. And he helped me out tremendously on the fix my truck. But anyway, I just want to mention that. But tell everybody to keep those people, our neighbors, in their prayers. And if you find a legitimate place to donate, churches are good. Samantha's first, of course. But anyway, everybody just keep them on your mind and do all you can do to help.
Will
Money
do.
is always good, but make sure that you're giving it to the legitimate
Sure.
Right.
causes. But, and thank y'all so much for talking about this.
Yeah,
And
we
keep it going.
we got to keep talking about it.
Frank, are you going to be in town today?
I will be. I can be. Or
All right. I just want to call you later and ask you a question. So I'll give you a call
Okay,
later.
And once I find a trailer, I'll find, I'll find out how much more room I have. So if I need stuff, I'll call you guys
Yes.
back.
Do
please.
that, and we'll do a drive for you.
I'm sorry, but
We'll do a towing drive for you if you've got room.
that will be great. That'll be great. So that's one thing that he's stressed. And he's baby formula and, stuff for the kids. They've got plenty of clothes. Most people don't. They've got so many clothes because they with clothes in the beginning. But I'm still collecting blankets and coats because I think they are going to need them. The winter's just starting.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a cold one.
Yeah, well, my wife just said, excuse me, car seat. And, excuse my voice. I have a person donated an oxygen machine. And the preacher said, yeah, bring it on.
Donated or what?
An oxygen machine.
Oh, yeah.
Old people sit around the camp breathe an actual oxygen machine. And people don't think about stuff like that, But and I got a generator. They need generators, of course.
Yep.
But I'll call you back. And Lee, give me a call later. Lee.
I will do that. Thank you, Frank, for all you do.
Okay, and thank you guys for all you
Thank
do
you.
too. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, appreciate it. Frank Rochelle there.
He's made a lot of trips.
Classmate, too.
Yes,
But he's
yours.
my classmate.
But alumni. Yes.
I forgot to ask him, how about them Cardinals?
Yeah, he's done a lot of work, made a lot of trips back and forth up to the mountains. And I know he has a place up in the mountains. And I need to find somebody like real soon in the Boone area. My granddaughter's alternator went out on her Jeep. And
Oh, my.
somebody to help us with that rather than
Well,
my
she
son.
should have brought it, fixed it when it was here.
It was fine when it was here.
Oh,
It was when she left to come home for Thanksgiving that it decided to quit.
oh well.
So-
But she had it here over Thanksgiving, right?
No, she
Oh,
didn't.
She left it.
Yes.
Okay.
They
Well,
took her boyfriend's car instead.
well. Instead, a boyfriend. She got a boyfriend up there.
She's had a boyfriend for a couple years now.
Well, son, it takes a wrench.
Oh, he's no, he's
Take it
no.
all. I mean, I'm not mechanically
You
inclined.
know,
I've replaced-
boys growing up these days don't dabble in things like
I
plumbing,
don't.
electric,
Well,
vehicle maintenance.
I don't do the vehicle maintenance either, but I have changed several alternators.
I've done it
I've
before
even changed
too.
my starter. I don't know whether I could even find an alternator today.
That's what I'm
well, I
saying.
can on my Jeep because I've already looked.
I did it back in the day, like when I had my Chevy Blazer.
Mm-hmm.
I changed the alternator, the starter. I could change the oil, do the tune-up. Nowadays, I just open the hood and I go, no.
I had an 82 Jeep Cherokee Chief.
Oh, I
Fire
had a
breathing.
Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah, this was a Jeep Cherokee Chief. It was the big one.
Mine
And
was not.
This was a two-door. It was like the Wagoneer in the day, but it was a two-door version
I
of
know
the
what you're
four-door
talking. Mine was
Wagoneer.
4, yeah.
Well, anyway, I got nothing. And I had a 383 in it. Anyway, it was a fire-breathing machine. It would pull, I believe I could pull a house off of its foundation. I
Wow.
could get a strap around it because that was a pulling machine.
Oof.
But it had one major thing. For no reason, the starter would just quit. When it gave you the first warning, you could wait a second or two and just go click, click, and try it. You hear
Mhm.
you hear the Bendix started, right? The relay clicking in,
Right.
but it would not engage the starter. Try it several times. You could do the old trick, get under there with a hammer and tap it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes you can make it move. It's brushes type problem.
Right.
I think it's an
The
electrical
brushes,
issue inside,
yes.
but I don't work on those either. But anyway, I figured out how to change it. And it's a good thing because I carried the spare with me. And would you believe this
Yeah.
one? That and the shovel allow me to change the alternator on that Jeep parked on the north end of Carolina Beach one day
Oh my gosh.
because it quit on the north end of the beach.
Oh,
I'm not
Yeah.
down there in the low tide zone, but I'm not
Right.
that stupid. But when it didn't just die when you're driving because you don't need it when you're driving, but when you turn the car off and try to start it again, it go click, click, click. What?
they used to make it so easy you could just do things like change the oil and anything, but nowadays with all the belts and gadgets and
the starter had like 2 bolts in it. It could have been
Right.
3, but whatever it was, I carried a wrench for it. I had to dig out underneath it because, even though it's built off the ground, it's there. And I don't like being confined in that small a space. So I would dig a hole underneath it big enough for me to get into.
well, I had a neighbor back in the day that taught me so much. I helped him replace an engine in one of our vehicles that we used to do patrol service at night.
Mhm.
And I helped him change I learned so much from him.
Yeah.
But nowadays,
I'm not gonna
it's
do
cheaper and easier. Just take it to the garage and let them change the oil or whatever needs to be done.
Okay, you mechanics out there, any of you, I read something about changing the transmission fluid. Used to be we would do it periodically every 40,000 miles or so. Then it got to be people said, don't do that. You're just stirring up the trashes in there. Okay, well,
What?
now I don't know. When do you change your transmission fluid or do you? I've got to find, I'm hearing too many different sides and
It's 60,000.
there's
I don't
all
know.
back and forth is equal. Some say do
No
and
clue.
some say don't. And then the ones say, well, the best way to do it is to drop the transmission, take it completely down and dump everything out of it, replace any parts in it that are worn, because there are parts that are going to be worn. Some metal parts perhaps worn in there. If you find any shavings in there, you got to change it. But anyway, and then fill it up with fresh stuff. Then those who have said that, a few of them have come back and said, yeah, I did all of that, put it back together, and in 10,000 miles, it burned up the transmission. So they blamed it on the new transmission fluid. Somebody needs to tell me the truth.
And you want to know how I do it? When GMC sends me a notice that you're due for this or that, make an appointment. That's how I do it. Other than that,
Oh, my goodness gracious. Who knows? Who knows?
exactly. Well, besides the big game Friday night, y'all witnessed something taking place in the neighborhood, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw.
We should talk
on
about
the
that.
way. I don't know that it was, but on the way it was dark. You
It's
know,
suspicious.
at 5:20-ish, 5:25. On oh God, what's the name of that? McAllister runs off of Marine Boulevard down over to the Commons. Whatever the name of that road is, runs by a Walmart area.
Oh, McDaniel.
McDaniel, one of those back things.
McAllister's off 258. Yeah, I was like,
Right.
what?
McDaniel.
Right,
It's a back
McDaniel.
name. And driving along and riding the humps. The ways are 3 to 5 out of the southeast. And
Yeah.
so we're going along
Speed
there.
bumps.
This guy walks, did not turn his head towards us at all, but he's walking at a diagonal angle. And me being driving slow, he had no problem getting across in front of us. Headlights picked him up. He's carrying probably about a 20 by 24 inch package, maybe 2 inches thick. Obviously, it just been dropped off somewhere.
Mm.
It looked like, did not appear to be opened. Had a dark, perhaps black, perhaps dark blue hooded shirt on, a hoodie, wrapped up tight around his face. He never looked at us, so I don't know what color he was. Hands, you could tell they were all wrapped up. And the sweatpants, the gray sweatpants, all the way to the floor, the ground, the deck. So I don't know, but not looking at us, crossing and walking rapidly, not running, not jogging, nothing like that.
Right.
It was, to me, very suspicious. And back in the day, of course, I would have stopped, regardless of the time of day or anything else. On
Right.
duty or off duty, I would have stopped just to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether anybody in that neck of the woods is missing a package as of Saturday morning.
Priest.
But the thing there is, we got a package before we even left from here. So we kind of waited for it. Robbie got it, brought it inside. We got to your house, picked you up, and as we were driving away, here comes the mail guy and the UPS guy.
Yes, and I knew I had a package
You had
going.
a package, so you got out and secured your package.
Right.
But I'm thinking about all of that. So what in the world do we need to do out there, folks? Is there something that we should be doing?
Well, I'll tell you, here's a few tips. Number one, a lot of packages, a lot of people order from Amazon. You can pick what day you want your package to be delivered. And if you know you're going to be home that entire early evening, because it may be early evening before you get it, then specify that day. And you can always change your delivery dates also. And most of your companies like UPS and FedEx, you can do the same thing. And if you know you're not going to be home and you're expecting a package, like say from the Postal Service, put a note in the mailbox and say, hey, if I have a package, when you leave it on the porch, could you kind of set it by the bench or behind the bush so it won't be seen from the road? And they'll do it for you.
Should you make your package, should you leave your porch light on? So the porch
I leave my
buyers-
porch light on regardless.
so the porch buyers can see it.
See, my thing is, a lot of carriers will just put it right in front of your front door in plain view for everybody to see. But if you leave my note in the mailbox, you know definitely that it's coming. UPS tracking, whatever it says, it will be delivered before 8 p.m. today. And you're not going to be home. Have your neighbor keep a watch out for it and go over and get it for you. Or you can leave a note in the mailbox and say, hey, would you deliver my package to my neighbor? They'll be home. There's a lot of things that you can do to help protect what you have coming. But right now it's increasing. I talked to a postmaster over the weekend, and they said that they're getting an awful lot of complaints. It's that time of year. People are just going to steal them right off your porch.
Yeah, I don't know how many they've gotten around here, but maybe we can check with the post office to see what kind of complaints, and with the police department. And any of you folks missing anything? Have you caught anybody? Problem is, the guys are dressing, even those that I have seen coming onto porches. I mean, you see them every day. If you go online, you'll see plenty of pictures of the idiots that come up and steal stuff. They're pretty well disguising their faces a lot.
Yes, because they
And-
know there's Ring doorbells. They know there's
Everybody's got 'em.
cameras. So, all you have to wear is a ball cap and a hood, and
Mhm.
you don't get, and they're not there long enough to really get a good look at them.
And they don't look up at the cameras.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's a shame. It's a shame that you have to worry about stuff like that, but it's the way
It's
it is
irritating.
nowadays.
It's gotten to be extremely irritating, and I don't know. I guess there are some solutions, but quick enforcement, rapid enforcement, arrest, and a bond that's set high enough to keep the people secured for a period of time. I mean, don't think this is just a crime, a victimless crime. Well, it's an inconvenient situation. Think about that. I mean, you've got to go do it all over again.
Yes.
You may be expecting this stuff. Now, one of the solutions to some of this is to shop locally. Buy
Absolutely.
your stuff locally. I do as much of it as I can, including
Yes.
those stadium seats the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Found a store, you found a store, and I went and bought them. Bought 2 of them.
Well, actually, one of our callers found the store, and it was Steve, and he let me know.
Okay.
So I told you, you looked it up, and at the time you said there was only 2 left,
Mhm.
and I think you were trying to make sure that I didn't go get one. And so I ended up ordering mine, which came a couple days later in pretty much the same as what you got. So, but I went Saturday, my sister and I went to a new place Saturday, a local business that opened up, and
Mhm.
we bought some Christmas stuff, but it was really nice. So yes, we try to buy local as much as we can.
Well,
But I'm gonna tell you
and I
what,
do.
we don't have the stores here like we used to. The shopping mall, in my opinion, not so much
it's
like
awful.
it used to be.
With this increase in online shopping, the network, the story I saw the other day is indicating there's already been a multi-billion-dollar theft in packages left on porches this year.
Yes.
Multi-billion-dollar. People
Multi-
like
I
Kelly,
don't-
for instance, she shops early.
Right.
Between now and Christmas, I have zero doubt that that's going to increase.
Right.
I mean, it's a shame that it's come to this, but we've got to do something about it.
That's why I
don't
always
know
try
what
to
we
make
can
sure
do.
I pick a delivery date where I'm going to be home. If not, I get so stressed out over it.
Mhm.
Is it going to be there when I get back? And normally I can ask my neighbor, hey, if you see the UPS man come by, will you go get my package? But he's been under the weather, so all my neighbors have, so I don't bother them. But you can also have it delivered. If you order like something from JCPenney,
Mhm.
instead of having it delivered to your house, have it delivered to the store. Most of the stores are doing that, where you can have them delivered to
Yeah.
the store, or there is a special place like Walgreens or something you can have your packages delivered to and go in there and pick it up. So don't let the porch pirates ruin your Christmas. And
Well-
it just is everywhere. And just, keep your house locked up too, man. Even
Yeah.
during the daytime.
Yeah,
keep
we're
your
going to
house
be
locked.
talking about that.
We need to get started.
If you're in your house or as we're in and out the back doors, there are multiple locations in and out of this place. And we may be working out back, but we certainly don't leave the front door
No, I
unlocked.
don't either.
And we also have the alert that comes on and activates our phones when somebody shows
Right.
up at the front door,
Yes.
on their
mine
way to the
does.
front door, on their way
Right.
from the front door. If they ring the doorbell, it shows up again. So we know, as our mail guy, he always hits the doorbell just to alert us
Yes.
that there is a package that's delivered, not just mail.
Mine doesn't, but once in a while I'll get a substitute who will. It scares the what out of me when
Yeah.
it does go off. But UPS man hit the doorbell one day last week and he stood there saluting because I told you that my doorbell plays the national anthem. I got so tickled.
Oh, that's cute. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Well, the
That's
Christmas season is upon us.
Yes, it is.
It's the time of year when we like to get together, break bread, and exchange gifts. Finding just the right present gets harder as the years go by. The older we get, the more realistic we become. The gift of planning ahead and planning for the future is one of the most valuable gifts you can give your loved ones. Estate planning provides peace of mind, helps avoid those dreaded family conflicts, and ensures your wishes are honored during critical times. Right now, you can get a certificate that entitles the bearer, in other words, a gift certificate that entitles the bearer to a basic North Carolina last will and testament. It's prepared by Cheryl P. Colson under the supervision of attorney Samuel S. Popkin. It's valued at $300. Half of that, 50% savings, $100. All documents can be securely filed with the North Carolina Secretary of State, the Oslo Clerk of Court, or the Register of Deeds as applicable. This offer, now here are the small words here, right? This offer does not cover complex estates or trust. You would imagine that. Some of those can be huge. The original number certificate must be presented at the first consultation and is valid for 6 months after it is issued and is only valid for drafting and signing one will. Don't expect to buy this $150 certificate and get a half dozen wills done, okay? No, that's not the way it works. It has no cash value and cannot be used for other legal services. In other words, you're not going to get to apply this to services from Mr. Popkins for a speeding ticket. No. For additional information, call the office of Samuel Popkin, attorney at law, at 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. Again, those two numbers, 910-347-0100 or 252-647-6016. This is a legal advertisement brought to you by Samuel S. Popkin, attorney at law, the team that wants to wish you and your loved ones a wonderful holiday season filled with peace and joy. Tis that time, 7:56.
Yes.
And right now it's up to 29 degrees here in
Lord have
the weather
mercy.
station at Live and Local.
Well, at least the sun's is out. It's going to help warm things up a little bit. I know this morning when my dog went out, he did not stay out but just a second, long enough to do his thing and run back in. Excuse me. Even my cat didn't stay out long. It's like, nope.
Yeah. Well, they found a in one
Where?
country, and it's not levels
Oh,
over,
I
unless you
was
want
just
to
gonna
do some work
say.
on the garden or something. Largest gold deposit in the world, worth $83 billion, has been
What?
found in China.
Oh, of course, China. Darn it.
600 billion won, yuan, or whatever they call their. It's the largest. They're calling it the largest gold deposit in the world. The gold reserves are worth about 600 billion, whatever their currency is valued as, about 83 billion US dollars. The discovery made by geologists with the Hunan Provincial Geological Institute, 12 miles beneath the surface in the Asian countries. Right. Xinhua.
Wow.
These guys. What? Let's go back to that dreaded COVID disease. Don't they owe the world for producing that stuff?
I would say so.
Why don't we go ahead, we and the rest of the world, go ahead and file a claim on that $83 billion in gold?
We aren't smart enough to do anything like that. And aren't they still arguing over where it originated from? I mean, we
You
have
can
spent
argue all you want.
thousands of dollars in Congress.
They claimed initially, even China claimed, well, it was in this open air market from a dog that was hanging up there for sale or whatever. That's what they said it was originally. No, it wasn't. It was from their lab.
It was. Well,
They've narrowed it down to that
yes,
lab.
I think so too.
There's nobody who thinks it came from
Look at
anywhere
the
else.
thousands of dollars we have spent with our Congress having hearings on it, and you know what came out of it. Oh, it was China's fault. That was it. What are we
Yeah.
going to do about it?
There's $83 billion right there. Let's go lay claims. Lost a loved one should file claims.
Oh, I agree. I agree
Class action.
100%.
Let's do it.
Jesus Lord.
Well, you know, way back when, last century, there was something called the 1903 A3 Springfield rifle, right?
Yes.
It's a 30 Arc 6 caliber. They called it a 30 caliber. It's a bolt action rifle. I had one. But anyway, they had that one, and that lasted up through into World War II. But they also came out at that time with a weapon of the same caliber, a gun of the same caliber, a rifle of the same caliber called an M1. Fired the same 30-06 bullets. So, I mean, they were smart in keeping one the same caliber.
Right.
And, okay, so that they served. In the 50s, they were looking for a different weapon. I don't know why that one didn't last longer. They wanted something lighter to, I guess, work with the situation in Vietnam. When Vietnam kicked off, they came out, they had the M14, which fired a different bullet, same 30 caliber bullet, but different cartridge case. So it was the equivalent of the sporting round, the 308, which is like the 30-06, not quite as much punch. So that was what they came out with. To keep that one hanging around for a while during going into Vietnam. And then they said, well, you know, that's a lot of heavy ammo to be carried out there in the bushes, in the jungle.
Right.
So we don't need those long range bullets anymore. So they adopted the assault weapon designated the AR-15, and they made it the M16. And made it fully automatic, or selector switch on it made it fully automatic, and it came out with the M16. And then, of course, they had several different sniper rifles. One that they were using quite a bit was still the 1903 A3 Springfield, because it was one of the most accurate bolt action 30-06 calibers that they had anywhere.
Wow.
So they tuned it up, made it a sniper rifle. A nice scope on it. Then they used another Remington Model 70, the equivalent of, made it a military weapon. I forgot what its designation was, and the 30 caliber. And then, of course, we've all read about the 50 caliber, big old sniper rifle they use for long range, extremely long range, and it's a great gun, but. Now they've got one. The Marine Corps' newest sniper rifle is now ready for regular prime time use.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what is this?
They announced last week that it has reached full operational capability for the service's new Mark 22 advanced sniper rifle.
I got a picture.
Which means, right there.
Looks bad.
Means that all infantry and recon units have fielded and completed new equipment training on the system.
Well, good for them.
Marine Corps was not the first to get it. The Army had it, and
Right.
the Army put it to use, and they said they gave their approval on it. But the rifle is based on a multi-role adaptive design bolt-action sniper rifle, and is capable of chambering the 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO 300 Norma Magnum and 338 Norma Magnum rounds, among others. All they have to do is swap the barrels out. They can change calibers.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why that's okay. You sniper guys, you long range dudes. We need to get Ryfinger in here to explain that. Jim Ryfinger, who's a sniper.
Yes. Oh.
But anyway, the 7.62 by 31 by 51 is the good old standard 308. Nice round, adopted by NATO as well. The 300 Norma Magnum, a lot of sporters, hunters use that. The 338 Norma Magnum, also among that, the Norma Magnum round. It's all 30 caliber. and they just got to make a minor change in swapping out the barrel. The Marine Corps officially adopted the Mark 22, the MK 22 in 2020, but they had to give it field testing, of which they did for the last 4 years. I don't know why it takes you that long to do it, but whatever. It's called a system. It's got the rifle itself, 3 barrels, a variable power optic, that's called a big old scope, and a suppressor. That means it doesn't make a whole lot of noise.
It's Miller time.
Mm-hmm. Scout
Well-
sniper tripod kit and a laser filter unit.
Well, good for
So,
them.
anyway, they got a new gun coming.
Well, good. They need top of the art.
They need something that can reach out and
That's
touch
right.
you
Mhm.
a long
Keep
ways
us
away.
safe.
We need some of that too here on the Jacksonville High School Cardinals. Not the rifle, but we did pretty well with some reach out there a few times Friday night and
Yes.
slip a bullet down range.
Phew.
How you doing, Chris?
Hey, good morning, my friends. How's everybody doing?
Good
Hope everybody's
morning.
for Thanksgiving.
Oh, we're happy. More ways than one. There was Thanksgiving that made us happy. Then there was Friday night dessert. So Chris Miller, Jacksonville Daily News sports editor extraordinaire, running up and down the field. And literally, I saw him actually run one time
I
Friday
saw him
night.
a couple times running.
Trying to
Oh
hurry.
yeah, because sometimes when you're on one end of the line and they have the Cardinals have a big play, you only have a few seconds to get back down on the other end. I would try to follow the ball, and you only have a few seconds to see where the ball was stopped, and then you have to do all your math and do all your stats. So I rushed there because what Jacksonville likes to do, they don't like to waste a lot of time between their plays. They get after it pretty quickly. So you're having to sprint down the sideline just to, all right, Cardinals got the ball at the 30. Okay, how many yards does that play get? So, and heaven forbid if you get any stats wrong, you may have to hear about it from a mama or a daddy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: up there in that press box where the media gathers, where the radio guys gather and talk about the games, both local and from the station that covers the games from the other side. They got places to be. The PA announcers up there, and then there's a little observation post up there. Why can't you get yourself a pair of really good binoculars and get
That's
up there
what I
where
said.
it's warm?
You need to
Well,
stay
I
up
think-
inside.
Well, I think if these coaches and the flight directors, they know me by now, and I'm not trying to come across a certain way, but I'm sure if I politely ask, and I have done it before, if it's been raining, I'm like, hey, coach, it's raining, I'm going to be in the press box if that's okay. Oh yeah, by no means. By all means. So these coaches and the flight directors know me where, if I asked, they would let me be in the press box, but I'd rather be on the field. You just get a feel of the game. You hear the coaches talk to the kids, and you hear the players interact with each other. You hear some of the stuff that you may not want to hear sometimes from young kids. But again, it's all in the nature of being competitive. But you get a feel for the game being on the sidelines. And every now and then, a coach will kind of shoot the stuff with you, and you're like, "Coach, why are you talking to me? You're in the middle of a game." So, but that's where it comes with these kids know you, these coaches know you, so they trust you being on the sideline, and I think they appreciate you being on the sideline. Of course, there's 500 other people who think they belong on the sideline, and they don't. Different people who think they're media and they're not, but well, that's a different story.
Yeah, we've watched that a little bit. We don't go to we don't go to the games to be media. I mean, we did it one time, but we don't go to the games to be the media. And
we go to enjoy
we
it.
go to enjoy the
That's
game.
right.
And I spent a whole lot of time up and down and cheering and hollering and carry on Friday
Oh,
night.
we were all hollering, weren't we?
Yeah.
Well, there's people out there with as we all know, with Facebook posts who masquerade as media. And don't get me wrong, there are people who have actually done a great job. I know, Melissa Oakley, our good friend Melissa Oakley, was doing that for a while. She did an outstanding job. But there's other people who just create a Facebook page and just post whatever willy-nilly stuff, and then they masquerade as media, and then they want the credentials to be on the sideline and get in the game for free.
Oh.
When you're not really doing the work that you deserve to get that special treatment. So I take that a little offensively, and like the people who generally do, are trying to do a good job and serve the community. That's a different story, and we know some of those folks. But the other ones that are just they don't follow any kind of rules or media rules in terms of being ethical and things like that. That's what kind of. And you had a lot of those on the sidelines Friday night.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's crazy.
That's one of the things, and we had media passes to begin with, but we used them because I got on the air at the time from overhead, but I don't do that anymore, and we don't go to the press box.
No, and we don't use our media passes that we have now. We
No.
don't. We just
We just
go in there like
we pay the same thing that
That's
everybody
right.
else pays to get in there, and we don't
go
have
sit in the
any
bleachers.
privileges. And we sit in the bleachers. And now for me, I like to get up as high as possible and shoot with a long lens, and just to grab a few pictures. If I was doing it for the Daily News, I would probably alternate between up top and down below, because I like a perspective shots up top. That was from my days of TV, of course. But we always had two people covering, one down on the field if it was a big game, and one up in the bleachers up high.
Yep.
Because you can follow the ball, you can see it, follow the action. Because at ground level, photographer can lose that ball in a heartbeat. Who got the ball? Who got the ball? I don't know. You got the ball. I don't have the ball. Where's the ball? So.
And the old secret of taking the video highlights of high school football games, and Rayford, this is you're never at the spot of the ball. I like being at the ball, but I'm not filming. But if you're filming for like TV show, for like the Blitz or some show like that, you're always ahead of the play.
Yeah.
That's where the play's going to come toward you, and that's where you get the best shots, with them coming toward you.
Yeah. Well, good old Nelson Calhoun, the late Nelson Calhoun, sports, the chief photographer for the Daily News, and he was a World War II combat photographer too, by the way. In case y'all didn't know it, I know it. He was from Wilmington. Or he would teach me to shoot. I wasn't helping him do anything. Those days, of course, we had a large camera, millimeter. We had twin lens reflex cameras and a flash. Mm-hmm. And we would focus on where we anticipated the ball carrier would be as he's passing our position, because that was the money shot. Mm-hmm. And if you would, it was a 12 exposure roll of film, and it takes a little bit of time to change film. So we would fire. It wasn't any rapid fire stuff. Right now, I can run through 30 exposures in one play, fully auto.
Well, I think I'm pretty cool stuff, because I got a camera lens, a 70 to 200 millimeter camera lens that works out pretty good. Mm-hmm. But then one of my freelance photographers, Tina Brooks, she comes out here with one of those massive things that she can take a really clean football photo from a mile away.
Yeah.
She puts all these others to shame. So it's pretty neat seeing her little old lady carrying a big old camera lens and being on the football sidelines. And poor thing, several years ago, actually got taken out from a play and busted her knee. And,
my!
So it can be dangerous on that sideline. But
I know. I'm not there.
So it's like I said, it's pretty neat being on the sidelines, and the kids. Like I said, it can be scary though. I always tell football players, all right, guys, if the play comes toward here, I'm gonna get behind you. You're the ones with pads.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But it's all fun. But yeah, that was a great victory by the Cardinals on Friday.
Okay.
28-14 lead. 28.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
She had to have it verified, because she had. She claimed I was wrong again. I wasn't.
I didn't say you were wrong. I just said, wasn't it 24-14? I didn't say you were wrong.
No, that's the same
thing. But you were right.
That's her way of covering.
And I was wrong.
But I'll say this though, those games on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, those are pretty neat. I mean, it's the kids enjoy having Thanksgiving morning practices, and they then enjoy having their their family time, later in the afternoon, and then they got a playoff football game that Friday.
There you go.
It's always a lot of fun being able to cover a high school football game on Black Friday. It's,
Oh yeah.
A playoff game. Most times it's usually third round. Sometimes it's been fourth round, but it is pretty neat.
The stadium was packed.
Yeah, it was. There were some. I don't want to call them rabid. I'm going to call them robust fans up there.
Yes.
On a couple of plays, it didn't look like they were called right. We let them know.
You must be talking about my brother, the voice behind us that was yelling out all sorts
There
of
was
stuff
a
at the
lady right
refs.
behind me that was also the same thing.
That would be my sister-in-law.
I know.
Very vocal.
She was very vocal. She was sailorish.
That's her.
Anyway, okay, so we won nicely. Now, obviously, with that win, it was a nice win, but I'm sure the coaches are not letting them, the guys, think about how great they were this week, because for just a little bit of extra, the ball could have been bouncing in a different direction, and we would have lost. So I'm sure that's on their minds, and hopefully they'll convey that to the players. Now, what about Friday night? We got to go all the way to Havelock.
Yeah, you got to go all the way to Havelock. It was the Havelock Rams that gave Jacksonville its only loss during the season. So Jacksonville is 11-1, and Havelock is 12-1. So they played one extra game during the regular season. But Havelock, Jacksonville, and New Bern all finished in a three-way tie for the conference championship in their conference. So New Bern is a 4A team. They lost the previous week in the 4A in the second round of the 4A playoffs, but this being 3A, Jacksonville and Havelock, this is the fourth round of the 3A playoffs. The winner will advance to the us in the media do, but it's basically the state semifinals. You go to the state championship game.
Okay.
But, this is how far they are.
All right. Well, it's good. So we're really close, but we need some people to go over there on Friday night, right?
Oh yeah, I'm and the Jacksonville crowd has traveled really well. They've traveled various playoff games. They travel pretty good. So I am still getting confirmation on what time the game is. If the two schools agree, I would assume that they would agree to 7:00, but. Officially, you're supposed to start playoff games at 7:30, according to state rules. But if both schools agree, they can agree to 7:00 start.
Oh, well, let us know.
With both teams already used to playing at 7:00, then I would imagine that they would kick off at 7:00 on Friday night.
Sure.
Let us know.
Yeah, we're planning on going. We're going to go over. So if any of you folks out there, you all want to get together, and we could caravan as long as you drive like I'm going to drive, and it's not going to be real fast, but it's going to be deliberate. And we're not making pit stops every 12 miles.
Havelock is not that far. We can make it.
You will make it.
Chris, I have a question for you. With all this that has recently come up with the college football over the weekend, planting of the flag.
Oh yeah, I knew that was.
Yeah, talk about it.
Let's talk about this.
I'm not one to really be. I'm not one to really do that. I think that is kind of disrespectful. I think if it's your home field and you do it in the middle of your own home field, I think that's okay because that's your home field. You can do whatever. You can do whatever. That's the same thing as the fans storming the court or storming the field after a big win. It's your home field. I always thought it was disrespectful when you were the away team and you did it in the middle of the field.
I'd be mad.
You're purposely doing it in the logo of the home team.
Okay, I understand that.
So planting of the flag is like, say, UNC and North Carolina State played each other. I forget, where were they playing at? State or?
It was in Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill.
UNC home game, yeah.
So State won and went and planted their flag in the midfield of the Tar Heels, right?
Yeah. So,
and that's
and then a brawl broke out.
Yeah.
A fight. So, yes.
But you saw this at various different games. I don't know. It started several years ago. And I just don't think it's a big deal. I mean, why do it? You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're trying to plant that flag from on the opposing field. Like I said, if it's your home game and it's your home field, that may be a little bit of a different story because it's your field. But
Right.
when you're doing it, you know what you're doing when you're the opposing, and you're doing it in the middle of the logo of the opposing team.
Ooh,
You know what
yeah.
you're doing.
That's
Now,
just kind of.
I don't advocate, the violence afterwards. And I think, time people who plant the flag should also be reprimanded. You know exactly what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
Well, both teams were fined $100,000 for it over the weekend.
Oh my. Oh boy.
Yikes.
That should teach you a lesson, if nothing else.
And how about those Bills and 49ers playing in the snow last night?
Oh, that was fun to watch. That was really fun to watch, and I think the Bills fans, they love that stuff. They love that home field advantage. They love that snow and and being able to toss it up and whenever they score a touchdown and kind of party like that. It was pretty neat to see, and I think from the optical standpoint, it was very neat to see.
Well, it's a lot easier to follow the ball. It's the one thing that stands out.
Look for the trail.
Well, yeah, what NBC did is they you had the field, the people who work on the field kind of clean up the yard markers, the 30-yard line, the 40-yard line, and things like that. But they didn't clean up like where it says 30 or 35
right.
and 40-yard line. But the NBC actually did. They kind of highlighted it and whited it out, not whited it out, but kind of darkened those numbers so people watching on TV could see what people on TV could see what yard line the ball was on.
Yeah.
So that was kind of different.
Yep. All right, sounds good, Chris. I'm sure we will see you there.
Yes.
Yep, I will be making a trip to Jacksonville High School later on this afternoon to do some interviews and
nice.
Some pictures, and then we'll have a couple stories lead up to the game, and then
I'll be watching for them.
Yeah, but I will be at the game on Friday unless they cancel it because of my convention.
Yeah. Well, it won't be canceled on lack of our interest.
No, really, we'll be there.
We're all over it. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, thank you.
All right, you take care. Chris Miller, Jacksonville Daily
He's
News
always
sports
so much
editor.
fun to
yeah,
talk
he is,
to.
and he's so knowledgeable and he's got all that background knowledge. So that's always fun out there. Marine Outlook for this new week is brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. These days, in case y'all haven't figured it out, they've gotten kind of short and they continue to get shorter, and it will do that for the next 3 weeks. Then slowly, ever so slowly, we'll experience an earlier sunrise and a later sunset each day.
Yes.
That's one of those things that happens. Might be just a minute or so per day, hardly noticeable.
Right.
Shorter days can have an impact on people. They have an impact on me. Long hours of darkness have a way of causing a decreased mood, increased fatigue, and even depression. Makes you want to eat more too. You sit down and you munch a lot. That does me. Drink a lot of hot chocolate. Reduced amounts of sunlight can result in what experts call a seasonal affective disorder. I did not know that.
What?
Seasonal affective disorder. That's SAD, S-A-D.
Oh.
Factory workers who have no access to sunlight during the daylight hours often experience similar effects because of the nighttime. They don't know whether it's day or night. It's all looking the same to them. They get confused. People who have to work at nighttime, but have to sleep during the daytime, you'll find their homes quite often have dark out curtains, blackout curtains. You can't see out. The sun can't get in. I did. Working a shift work, I did the same thing. Symptoms include feelings of sadness, hopelessness, suicidal, social withdrawal, and changes in appetite and sleep patterns. Some studies show that there can be an increase in the suicide rate as a result of increased depression, anxiety, isolation, and depressed drive. If you experience these types of problems, there is prevention services in Jacksonville has work with you to develop plans that can help you work through the issues. They'll point out that what you know, longer days are coming, and they'll help you decide that what you should be able to do and what kind of work you should be doing and how to work through these seemingly dull times of the year. Call to set up a time to meet with a counselor, 910-353-0972. Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville, where the counselors actually want to help you deal with whatever issues you're having, 910-353-0972. Offshore today, you're probably not going to want to do too much. About to 20 nautical miles, cold, dry, high pressure. It's going to remain in control across the eastern North Carolina waters for the next several days. High pressure builds across these same waters by midweek. Today, northwesterly winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 25 knots this morning, seas 3 to 4 feet, occasionally up to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. The inlets are going to be rough, 3-foot waves, the norm from the northwest every 4 seconds, crossing southeasterly swells of 1 foot every 8 seconds. That's going to create a bit of a sloppy chop. Sounds and rivers choppy. Northwesterly winds tomorrow, 15 to 20 knots, gust up to 25 again in the afternoon, 3 to 4 footers, occasionally up to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers choppy. Wednesday, northwesterly winds around 10 knots, becoming westerly in the afternoon, 2 to 3 footers, sounds and rivers a light chop, increasing to a moderate chop in the afternoon.
And today will be sunny with a high near 47. Tonight, clear with a low around 24. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 43. Tuesday night, clear with a low around 18. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 49. It'd be easiest just to say it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold.
Rest of the week,
It's going to be cold.
Cold.
You know, there was a gentleman standing outside there in the chilly weather on
Yes.
Friday evening.
Yes, he was.
I didn't get a chance to see him. I know he called you
Kept
you
hearing
out.
my name, yes.
Yeah, I heard your name.
I heard your
Haley.
name.
He was calling Haley Berry, I think. Right?
Oh, no, he didn't
wasn't.
get Haley Berry. That's
Hey, Chris, how are
Hey,
you?
Chris.
Good morning, Rayford. I saw you. You were dressed it looked very warm. I saw your professional camera with you,
Uh-huh.
and Robbie and Lee. And but thanks to Lee for bringing Timmy's money.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It was chilly. I got there about 5:15 to get in a good spot to set up. And to the people that donated, I stayed there 2 hours or so. After 2 hours after game time. And we raised $120.
Oh, that's good.
It's 120 more than what you had.
Yes, it was. But I want to, Lee, thank you. Your friend, my friend, Joy Weatherington, called.
Yes. Oh, good. Good.
Upon your advice.
Yes.
And she has done so much to help put wreaths on these veteran sites that
Thank you, Joy.
Yes, Joy. I could tell you, she had a friend from Texas that donated, and after that, I received 3 or 4 emails, and she said she would put my phone number out there if they asked her for it, that I'd pick up the money, which I will. But
Right.
update, we're halfway there.
Oh, good.
Which
Good.
Well,
the good
tomorrow's
news
the
is
last
that's
day.
3,000. That's 3,000 wreaths.
Yeah.
Right.
The bad news is that makes us 3,000 short, but it was nice that the Cardinal fans and even the Colt fans from Cape Fear,
Oh, really?
they stopped
Nice.
by. They looked
Yeah.
at it. They looked at it to see what it was about, which may hopefully would have planted the seed. But I just the people that have this morning and late last night were contacting me, and those that still need help and instructions, you can feel free to Facebook me or call me. And yes, as I told Joy last night, I will go pick up the money or check. I have no problems with that. I also want to thank State Representative Phil Shepard, who stopped by.
I saw him.
Went in the game.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
him. Yes.
He did. I would like to challenge our local officials, though, because of our local officials. I will say this: Robin Knapp, God bless you. He donated.
Mm-hmm. Well, tonight's the
That's
county
right.
commissioner meeting.
Yep.
unfortunately, tomorrow's the deadline, and no, we're not going to get 3,000. I don't believe, unless certain people that may be, the YMCA pool, which is still a great idea, maybe would donate some, or some of the businesses. I don't want to call them out. I'm not going to do that, because anybody that gives, thank you. Rayford, you gave. Lee gave. Kelly gave. Theo was so gracious. Timmy, Timmy the Donkey Man gave. Lots of people are giving, and I understand that there's other charities out there and there's other organizations that are trying to do this as well. But the 3 for 2 is the special one, because we get the extra free one.
Yeah.
So that $34, we get that extra free one. And I just want to, as I told Joy last night, this is not about me. It's about these veterans. And in this military town, I have to say it again, this military town of over, 72,000 plus.
Yes.
How can we not, as businesses or as individuals, not have a wreath on these people's graves? Please, people, think about what they did. They served our military. And it's once a year, and then maybe going forward even more. Lee and Rayford, you've been so gracious with your time.
Well, we as Americans, I, as a good old North Carolina boy, American, all of us, we in here, and Kelly's, when she's here, we all have relatives who
Yes, we do.
who served. We have veterans in our families. I don't know how many. I'm not sure how many American families out there today do not have veterans in their families. I'm sure at one point in time, particularly post World War II, when we had pretty much everybody serving,
Right.
who could serve, there were veterans everywhere, and for generations afterwards. But we've lost that generation now. The World War II veterans, there are only a handful left, believe it or not. Wow. I mean, the end of the war was 1945. To people like me, that wasn't that long ago, having been born just a couple of years later. But that's just that we've just lost them. They're gone. They're almost all gone, depleted.
Mm.
They set the stage for today's military.
Oh yeah.
Today's young people, and I understand this economy until next year is still very, very, very rough on everybody. But $1.13 a day, that's what we call it. $1.13 a day would be $34.
Yep.
For a month, right?
And by the way, Lee, Kathy sent you a message. The
Yes.
wreaths that Kathy and I bought and had extras of, we have given those, all have been donated. We actually had the last 2 people say they would take.
Oh,
they would like
okay.
them on
All
their
right.
care.
Because I sent her a message and told her just to call about it, because I wasn't too sure exactly what she meant. So.
Okay, so we bought the 3 for 2 numerous times, and we had obviously we had the extra ones that we didn't purchase for other people that couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So we bought them, but we had the extra ones, and so we were looking for people who needed them and maybe couldn't afford them. So we have given those away already.
So now, will these people just come to the service and wait for you to hand them the wreaths? Because I know before the actual wreaths are laid out, they let the people who bought specific wreaths, bought wreaths for specific graves, come up and place theirs first.
These will be placed on their gravesite.
Will you be doing it?
No, we're not going to do. So basically, if it was grave specific, like your father's is, my father, God rest his soul, both rest their souls, they are grave specific. So these people that Kathy and I donated the money for, I would just say this: we donated the money for them, but it's in their name and it's in their specific person, parent, grandparent, whoever's name.
Gotcha.
So they will have somebody put it on their gravesite.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's what I was getting at. Very good.
Good.
Very good.
So,
Well, tomorrow's the
so-
last day that people can purchase for this area. So
And that's all going to be on the, what day is it?
December
14th?
14th.
14.
Okay.
Yes,
That's 1 week
Okay.
after Pearl Harbor Day, so Saturday.
right. That's right.
And to our friends in Maysville, Crime Stoppers will be out at the parade this Saturday.
Yay.
Oh,
Next
nice.
Saturday, next Saturday, one of our favorites, Richland parade
Yep.
at nighttime will be there, and Crime Stoppers will be there. But again, this call was mainly to say thank you, Rayford and Lee, again, and thank Morgan Starling for the Daily News for their coverage. Hopefully next year we'll get some coverage from local television stations if we have any. And
Well, we might even own one by next year. You never can tell. We'll start
There
up
you
our
go,
own.
Rayford.
Let's start up our own.
Rayford, you
Look,
and
I
I
don't
have
do
talked about
TV.
that tower. We thought about that tower in your yard, Rayford. We can build it up higher.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could put up about 100-footer here without too much trouble. We can get out a little ways.
Yeah, Cardinals played a great game. I got to say, from the announcer's standpoint, you were talking about the fans questioning some of the things. The announcers were questioning quite a few.
Yep, buddy.
Actually, I was listening to both Cape Fear's coverage and Jacksonville's coverage of it. And just a little odd note for you. In my younger days, we covered the Havelock Rams radio, and I covered the Cardinals on
Okay.
the radio. So, but I remain forward ever, backward never, a Cardinals
There
fan.
you go. Go
Yes.
Cardinals.
Bicentennial class.
That's right.
So I hope you stayed warm. You looked warm, Rayford. Kelly, Lee,
Yes.
you and Robbie looked like you needed a few extra layers.
We had our big coats on, our scarves, our
Well,
hats, our gloves.
some years ago over there in Morehead City, there's a guy named Todd Locker. He started a place called Sportsman's, I'll do it wrong every time, Wholesale or whatever it is on Highway
Yes.
70, just before you reach the town limits, the city limits of Morehead City. And of course, I did a lot of work for him at the time. I did a lot of remotes and all sorts of good stuff, live radio remotes. And he would run these special sales. Now, yes, way back in the day, I was a hunter, sort of. I'd go out and I'd sit in a tree stand or look for some squirrels or whatever. And quite often, more often than not, in a tree stand when it's really cold out there, all bundled up, I could go to sleep in a heartbeat.
I can go sleep anywhere.
I'd be sitting in a tree stand, and I'm like, this could be dangerous. Just roll over a little bit, and I'm on the ground the hard way. But I did it. I was not one of those rabid hunters. I was just there because I enjoyed the outdoors. But Todd had this special that he had bought, closeout for apparently, and I was never a duck hunter, by the way. I tried, that didn't work. But he had this company that made clothes especially for duck hunters, and duck hunters only like it when it's nasty weather. They say the birds fly better. Nasty, cold, rainy, snowy, sleety. That's the kind of weather that the hunters have to prepare for. So we had this line of coats over there made for duck hunters. I ended up one of them. It was like $150 coat, $10. They had a lot of them on sale for $10. That was my coat. I did not get cold at all from the neck down to the waist whatsoever.
I'm telling you, you looked warm.
I was
You reminded. First thing I went is, Rayford, you either wore that on your boat when you went fishing.
Well, that's what I got it for.
Yeah, he looked like he was going duck hunting.
I got it for my boat so that I could wear it during the wintertime when I went outside fishing, and I did. And I haven't had to do that lately, but I tell you what, it serves purpose when the cold season comes around. It's good.
The only thing that got cold were our legs, but be sure to take
Oh,
throws the next time.
It's going to be blankets on this one,
Yes.
in
but
addition to our heated seats.
the heated seats did well. Our buns stayed nice and toasty.
I saw a lot of people go in with those chairs on.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's changed so much from the other day. But well, I want to say one quick thing about that Ohio State Michigan game. Then it happened Florida and Florida State. Then at Carolina and
Yes.
State. Yeah, I think part of the problem is when the officials or the NCAA allow the players to start celebrating like the NFL players do. You know, before you couldn't do that. You score a touchdown, you get first down, you just hand the ball down, you go.
We're just
Now
having
it's just they're
fun.
dancing and
Yep.
well, they're having fun, but then the fans you're going to go out there and have problems. After
Yeah, that's the
the
problem.
players doing it. Yeah. So,
You're kind of taunting the other team, and the other team not only includes just the team members. You're taunting if you're on foreign turf. You're taunting all of the people from that area.
They're just
Yeah.
That's just not right.
fun.
no, it took away from the players that played a good game.
Yeah, it did.
That's the sad thing.
Got it.
But anyway, thank you for your help with Reach Across
All right.
America, honoring our fallen veterans, and God bless both of you.
Be
and
sure to call
everybody that's
tomorrow.
donated. I will do that. Thank you for your help and time.
I think I'm going to be building a fire tonight and tomorrow night because it's going to be in the mid 20s tonight again, and
18.
18 tomorrow night. So I
Tomorrow
think
night.
I'm going to burn up my wood here very shortly.
Sure.
Uh-oh. I
Uh,
have that. I have that taken. Note is taken just now.
well, it's
You're
not
covered.
for that,
You're
but
covered.
I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to be burning some wood. Y'all can be in the neighborhood.
covered.
You're going to be smelling some smoke, and you're going to be wishing you were here.
Mm.
Rayford, you know you're covered.
I know
All you
that.
have to do, let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
See ya.
Thanks,
Take care.
Chris.
Have a blessed day.
Chris Parr, about town. I mean,
Chris Marks.
he's
You always
Did I-
want to call
Did
him
I call him
Parr.
again?
Yes, you did.
Jeez, nothing against it.
You
You
always-
both have great voices. That's the thing.
Yes.
You both sound
Chris
exactly.
Parr does also,
like-
too.
That's what I'm saying. They both
And
of
Chris
them.
Parr can sing. I wonder if Chris Marks can.
Chris Marks and I probably do about the same thing. We can't carry a tune in a bucket, or I can.
I tell you, he's done a great
Maybe
job
Chris does.
with this Reeves collecting money.
Remember
And
Special Counsel Jack Smith?
yes, I remember
Well, you know
him.
he's out, but
Yeah, he's out.
he gets
Bye.
on CNN and says that he's dropped the election subversion and classified documents cases against Donald Trump. Trump threatened to fire him after he takes office.
He's
CNN says they threatened to fire him to stop the investigations. Firing the special prosecutor would not stop the investigations.
no,
It
but
would stop the Smith guy from doing it, Jack
Right.
Smith, but it doesn't necessarily mean the investigation's going to stop
well, then he'll fire the next one.
if it comes to that. But why should he? Why should he? I know they're not going to go after him. They're not going to do any major investigations. They're not going to prosecute while he's in office. He's got 4 years to go.
That's right.
4 years and 6 weeks or something before they can start to do something. But if they really, honestly believe, if our federal government then or now or next week or next month, if they honestly believe this man, forget being president, Donald J. Trump committed these atrocious crimes, they should continue the investigation and, if warranted, seek an indictment, and if gotten, prosecute him. That's what should be done. But is it going to happen? Probably not.
No.
And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to tell you right now, it was nothing but a politically motivated legal maneuvering.
Well, can't Trump pardon himself after his 4 years?
I doubt it, seriously. But
Why not?
in all seriousness, why would you not think it's politically motivated if they're all of a sudden willing to just give up and not do anything? They spent all these years, 8 of them total, 4 years while he was in office, 4 years since he was removed from office, since he got the boot, but indicated he was going to run in 2024, which he did. But he spent 8 years. We spent how many billions of dollars investigating
That's
this
what
man?
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The amount of money.
If it was not worth it, then if it was not worth it now or in 4 years from now, it wasn't worth it then. What are you doing? You are admitting that it was nothing but a bunch of politics, and politics stinks when it involves the legal system.
It's a lot of games being played. Always. It's always.
Now,
been that
here we
way.
go with some more.
Oh, gosh. What now?
Got a new nominee to replace Christopher Wray. Thank God he came around, but he had already tainted. He'd already pooped in his nest. President-elect Trump's announcement to Kash Patel, nominated as the new FBI director. Everybody's got their opinions, lawmakers, experts, and others. Trump announced his intent to replace Chris Wray, who Trump actually hired during his first term.
Right.
Remember, he got rid of that, what's his name, that came under such fire.
Yeah. Jim.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Since that time, media outlets have labeled Patel an extremely controversial pick because of his opposition to the deep state. What is the deep state? I hear about the deep state all the time. What's the deep? I know where the deep six is. It's the deep blue ocean.
Yes.
What is the deep six? What is the deep state? Tell me what the deep state is. Somebody explain it to me. You wise people out there, explain to me what the deep state is. If he opposes the deep state, maybe I do too. I just don't know what it is. So help me out.
This is weird.
Haven't baited you yet enough. What's the definition of the deep state? We hear about it. We use the term all the time, but what is it?
What you
Phone's not ringing off the hook. Nobody knows. Wikipedia calls it a type of government made up of potentially secret and unauthorized networks of power operating independently of a state's political parties. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What's that?
It's a type of government made up of potentially secret and unauthorized networks of power operating independently of a state's political leadership in pursuit of their own agenda and goals. What would be their own agendas and goals?
Takeover.
In popular usage, the term carries overwhelmingly negative connotations and is often associated with conspiracy theories.
Oh, there goes the conspiracy theories
So he's
again.
opposed to this.
Right.
He's opposed to the deep state.
Well,
and
they're
now
saying
the media is calling him a controversial pick.
Well, they're saying some of these people have positions in the military or intelligence fields also that are part of this deep state. Yeah, there's been deep state for years.
The left-wing side, according to Fox News here, showed concern over the politicization, politicizing of the FBI and whether Patel would be a Trump enforcer who would dismantle the agency. Nobody's going to dismantle the FBI, including Donald Trump. He has no power over anything except the top, the head. And the head can come, the head can go. And the head also serves at the pleasure of Congress because they can impeach him, right?
Right.
They can remove him.
You know, there was a poll taken not so long ago from Americans asking whether or not they believe there was a deep state within the government, and 48% said yes.
Yeah.
People just, I mean, there's always something. And I do believe that there's people working underground, so to say.
Against the administration?
Against the administration.
Regardless of who the administration is?
Yes.
Former Obama administration official Juliette Kayyem, she says Patel was chosen only to go after Trump's political enemies. Well, I mean, we've heard this before. She said he has no other agenda but revenge.
Well, it
Does
is.
he does he have any law enforcement experience?
You know,
What do we know about him?
what was his name again?
Cash, Kash, Patel, Patel. Does he have any background in law enforcement?
Isn't he?
Which I doubt
Wasn't he the one that's the father-in-law to his Trump's daughter or something?
I don't have a clue. I'm not going to speculate because I don't know.
I heard that this morning going out the door because I really hadn't kept up with the news over the weekend. Now, ardent supported president.
There have been claims coming from some in the Trump organization in the past that the FBI has been politicized. Well, yes, it has been.
He's a former public defender, so he knows law.
Maybe. Public defender.
Right. Because
He knows law from one side.
well, I'm sure he knows it from both sides. You just don't go in and just only go in for one side. I mean, I'm sure he's been on both sides. I read somewhere or I heard somewhere where maybe he's not the one, but Trump's daughter-in-law's father was nominated for something.
I have no clue.
All right, I have to go back and look. Oh, Patel, who calls himself a native New Yorker, was raised Hindu by his immigrant parents, according to his book. He also grew up apolitical, but became a more right-wing during his time in college at the University of Richmond.
Well, it's time we got a little bit, somebody leaning a little bit more towards the conservative side. I don't want to call it the right wing because I just like that. I just like the right wing or the left wing, the left leaning.
Oh, well, listen.
You know,
he
extremes.
worked as a federal prosecutor in the National Security Division of the DOJ. At the DOJ, Patel oversaw the prosecution of criminals aligned with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and other terror groups, according to the Department of Defense profile.
how many did we convict and what did we do with them?
He also
Send 'em
served
home.
as DOJ liaison officer to the Joint Special Operations Command during operations against high-value terrorism targets.
I need to get Mr. John
Wow.
Legato back in here.
I think he does. He
retired
does.
special agent. We need to
looks to
get some feelings about this. Maybe he will. Well, I'll just give him a call today.
yes, you should.
I know these are all political appointees. Okay, you can call them Trump's appointees or nominees or whatever, but they're all done by a person who's elected to be in office. So therefore, they become political in nature. Some of them are for payback. We know that. Some of
Yes.
them are to pay back the
Well.
people that you don't want. But I don't. There will be. His hands are tied by law. There's a U.S. code out there that they got a problem with. It's kind of like the general statutes in a state, but there is a U.S. code of laws.
Yes, sir.
You cannot go beyond them, but you are supposed to enforce them. Now, those who do not enforce them are the same thing as
Deep state working against.
at least as bad as those who try to over enforce them.
All right, I found the question that I asked you earlier.
Okay.
Tiffany Trump, which is Donald Trump's youngest daughter, he tapped the father-in-law of her, which is Mossad Bolis.
Okay.
I'm not sure. He was named senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs.
Okay. He's probably
Yes,
capable of handling that.
that's what I knew. I heard something this morning to do with
Who do we have?
who do we have? We have Joy. Joy to the world.
Do we sing Joy to the World?
I
Or
always
just
wanna
Joy,
sing
Joy,
that every time I
Joy.
see her calling.
Hey, Joy to the
morning.
World. How are you?
Good morning. Real quick, because I know there's not much time left.
You've got time.
I really want to thank Chris Marks for what he has been doing and working so hard diligently, not only with the wreath, but everything else he's involved in.
Mm-hmm.
When I called him last night, he was baking cookies. But you know what? Chris did not he did not offer me a cookie. Hey, Chris, what's up with that? I'm just thinking. What I'm going to say,
I thought you had one. Don't you live with one?
Really,
That's a sweet
we're talking
treat.
about we're Kentucky cookie.
Ah,
Not really. I don't mean this in a bad way at all. I wish I had gotten involved in this earlier, but I've had other things going on in my life. But I remember how our community came together when there was a disaster of the hurricanes, and we did such a wonderful job, and so many people
Amen.
took that opportunity. And it just touched my heart when I saw it. It really broke my heart when I saw how many people would not have wreaths on their graves. And I hope people would just sort of. I know this is a bad time, and I know that people have given, but this really means a lot to those families of the loved ones that served for and protected us and for our freedom. And it's for $34 for 3 wreaths. I mean, we could really go hard working at it the next day, today and tomorrow to get things going. I just hope that people just, their hearts are touched to realize that these people that are laying in an eternal home, we need to honor those veterans. And I hope that they do this, and that is my prayer, that those people's hearts will be touched, that we can come up. And I believe in miracles, and I'm just going to hope in those 3,000
That's
people
right.
That would be great.
are going to be touched.
that would be great.
And maybe
And-
we'll be lucky and
and-
they'll have extras and send it.
You know what would be, we don't, we should not be counting on luck ever again. But yeah, it would be nice if they have some extras hanging out. But these folks, the further away we get from them, yes, we're having veterans, like Lee's dad, my dad in 2008, and Chris's dad. Well, we haven't, these veterans, they're still passing away, and we're going to always have veterans
No.
passing away.
No, no.
And the problem, here's a sad thing. Think about it. So you've got a loved one in this plot in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and the nearest family is in Nevada, Utah,
Yes.
California,
Yes.
or whatever. This loved one
Yes.
is alone.
Yes.
Yes.
I have a friend that
except he or she is among those that love each other too. But
Yes.
we
Go ahead.
need to show it. We need to show it for those other
Yes.
families.
Yes. Yes. I have a friend.
That
in
mission has
Texas
fallen
that
on
lives-
us.
I have a friend that lives here, grew up here, but she lives in Texas now. And I had posted on that Court Street page, of course. There's a lot of military people on that page.
Oh yeah.
And she was so glad that I did that. And I'm not taking credit for anything. This is not about me at all, honestly. She purchased 20, and she was so thankful that I reminded her because she had forgotten. So, and then it sort of rolled. But, you know, it's not, I mean, I just hope and pray that people will step up. Some of these businesses, I know that everybody's asking for money here, there, and everywhere, but we came together as state and community when the other portions of our states were in need, which
Yep.
I'm so thankful. But like
Yes,
I said,
absolutely.
for those individual help.
Agree.
But this is our home. This is where we live. This is where these people live and are now at that gravesite. And what a beautiful, surreal type of feeling to look out and see that cemetery covered with those wreaths. And I'm not downing anyone. I'm just asking for those to please reach out and try to reach that 3,000 wreaths for the rest. And
Yeah.
that's all. And thankful for Chris and our nice conversation, which was
Yeah,
a good
wow.
conversation.
Very good.
Chris is always with that. Now,
Yes.
let's see if I do the
And
math
thank
here.
y'all.
If I
Yes,
do,
sir.
I'm going to try to on a calculator here very quickly.
Yeah, I
Yes,
was going to do that. To go ahead.
I know
was gonna-
what $4 will actually get you 3 wreaths. $4
Mhm.
by 3 comes out to $11.33 a piece. 11.34. Okay, so
Yep.
you then divide. Hold on, let me get back here. 3,000 by $34.34. All we need are unless I did something really wrong,
How
there's
much money?
87 people to step up.
Right.
Exactly.
Well,
You know that there's that many people out there.
I will tell you, you won't
Well,
need
that's probably
exactly
wrong.
that many because you've got a lot that have their cremated remains
Sure.
interned. So
Yeah.
you don't need actually, unless you want to buy one specifically for your loved one, we don't need to cover that whole section. You know, put a couple at each section to represent all the ones that are interned there, but unless you want to, but so I mean, what we're looking at is to cover all the graves on the
Yeah.
grass and then
Yeah.
place wreaths by the area where they're interned, the ashes are interned. So,
Right.
but that'll save you a little bit, but it'll still cover.
Yeah. I looked at pictures at Arlington and different ones as I was trying to figure out how I could sort of try to speed some stuff up, and it's just really very touching.
Yes,
and,
it is.
Heartfelt, and I even I just hope people will step up to the plate and really work hard the next couple of days to do what needs to be done for those fallen veterans, and even those that are there because of the other reasons, the family member or whatever.
Yeah.
And a big kudos to Chris Marks for what he does for our community and for you guys. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, there was lots of stuff that we wouldn't know, and I want to thank y'all for that.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
But that was all, and I don't mean to down the people that helped with the hurricane, because that was a wonderful thing.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. That's part of
People
what we do.
have done a tremendous job.
That's part of what we do.
Yeah,
That's right.
and I just think that sometimes we need to reflect on home.
Mhm.
I agree.
That's all I have to say, guys.
All right, thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Joy.
Well, it's a
Thank y'all.
military
Y'all have a
town.
great one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Good. Drive on over to Havelock on Friday night. We can have
Bus.
a little covered wagon type thing.
No. Another family member that Trump has appointed also is Charles Kushner,
Mm-hmm.
who is the father of his son-in-law's Jared, and he's been nominated for ambassador to France. So, got
All
some nepotism going on there.
Well,
But hey, they can do the job.
He keeps it in the family. One
Yep.
thing about a family and certain families, if I was going to be doing something, I've got a handful of people in my extended family that
Sure. You know
I
your
would
family
reach out to
best.
that I could count on
That's
to
right.
get her done.
That's right. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's
And I got a handful of individuals out there, like Chris Parr. You can rest assured I'd be reaching out to him to ask him if he would like to serve or would serve or consider serving to do some stuff. There are a whole bunch of people that I can think of to probably fill his cabinet post
right.
of folks that I have known in the past. And probably not a whole lot of them. I mean, Chris is pretty politically correct and nice and everything, but I got a few of them out there to just get the job done. Toes getting stepped on? Oh, absolutely.
Any trips to the stream station?
No, not. It's too cold. Okay, what do we got tomorrow? It's Tuesday.
Tomorrow,
who do we have up there?
hopefully, Theo.
Okay,
Let's take Theo before we go.
we'll take Theo because he's calling in at the last minute here. Hey, Theo, how you doing? Hello, Theo.
Yo, what's going on? Deplorable.
Where were you Friday night? We kept a spot warm for you.
Yeah, we did. Right between
was
Robbie
there.
and me.
You were there?
Yeah, I was there. I just didn't want to talk to you.
You
didn't even have to talk. We had hot
Joy.
chocolate for you. I
Yes,
seriously
we
brought
did.
I was there and
cups.
I saw the game and I went for information. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So the game turned around when that kid, that number 8, I don't know his name, got the interception and brought all the way down to the 8-yard line or to the 6-yard line there, and then they went and scored.
Yep.
That turned the game around.
It was good. Exciting. You were excited, weren't you?
Was that a
Yeah, it was good.
Marby? I don't remember his number.
Yeah, but that was good. But look, I was going to say that band that they had over there, the other side, that was a good band. They were solid, those people. That's a high school band. Wow.
Yes,
That was beautiful.
we talked about that. Robbie and I were talking about how
well,
good their band was.
I wasn't going to say anything negative about it, but I think they tried to play football and during the game
Yes.
because those 4 tubas that they had up there, a little bit much when our team, when the Cardinals were down in that neck of the woods.
That's what they're supposed
That's
to do.
when they got out there and started playing pretty loud.
Well, where was our band?
I don't know where our band was. Missing.
Okay, so look, deplorable. Do something right for once. Where was when I came from New Jersey, we had in the half we had the entertainment. The band would come out and play a couple of songs to keep us entertained.
Yep.
Maybe a couple of Christmas songs to get us in the spirit. Where was our band?
It used to be the same way at Jacksonville.
Well,
Trust me.
I will say in defense, during regular season, they are there and they're playing and, they do all that. Now,
Yeah,
during
this was a championship game. They should have been there.
Should have been there.
I agree.
Especially for a home championship game. Theo, I'm on your side. They should have
I
been there.
agree.
One more thing I noticed before I go.
Okay.
Right.
I noticed there was a lot of Democrats over there. I didn't see too many Republicans or unaffiliated, but I did see a lot of Democrats over there.
I didn't notice what the difference was.
Or are they
Now
riding
I know why you're
donkeys?
gerrymandering this state. Now I know why.
I have no clue what you're talking. I don't know how you can tell by looking at somebody whether they're. I saw a Republican House of Representative there. I saw a lot of people that I know that are Republicans.
I noticed. So listen, the reefs across America, you guys dropped the ball. Lee, you were supposed to start it last year. For some reason, you're too busy you got everything on your plate, so you let that go. Chris cost $60,000, right? Isn't that what covered 6,000 reefs?
Somewhat.
1,000 reefs or $17 a piece, 6,000
Right.
reefs.
Okay, so that's why it's got to be something that's steady. The money's coming in every year, so we don't have to go through this every year.
Well,
Okay, so 60,000. We're talking about 6 businesses, or 60 businesses paying $1,000. What's $1,000 for a business in Jacksonville?
If it's
I know. I agree.
$1,000. We can't get a commitment in this great town of yours.
let's do it this way, Theo. Let's break it down for 12 months. $1,000 for 12 months. Let's just say $100 a month. 60 businesses pay $100 a month into the kitty. Every month that goes by, they pay it into the kitty. And at the end of the year, there's $60,000 waiting right there.
I already told Chris
Done.
I would work with him 2025 and we'll do some fundraisers and stuff. And I help him.
So.
Yes, sir.
I sure hope so. You know, when the sheriff sends money to be donated to the sheriff department, why don't they put in $17 for the reefs across the nation? Why don't they do that? Add another $17 or $11 to make it $11, and then when they get all the money together, they'll be able to put $34 and get three reefs together.
Well, there's
Okay.
grants and stuff that you can apply for to help with that. But the thing is, this has to become a nonprofit organization, not solely just for reefs, because you can't do that because there already is a 501c3 for reefs, and that's Reefs Across America. But there's other ways that you could start a nonprofit that you could start raising money through the year for. And so I told him I would be more than happy to help him with that. I
I'm
just
sure
couldn't
you
do it
get
all myself.
60 companies in this town to pay a lousy $1,000.
Oh, they're out
Okay.
there.
Okay,
We can
so
do it.
$100 a month for 60 companies will do it. $100 a month is easy to come up with. $100 a month for a company is easy to come up with. Some companies at the end of the year are popping up an extra $1,000. Some of them may not
Well,
have it.
I went to
the small
several
ones.
big places several years ago when I got so involved in it. And I went to Marine Federal. I went to Jones Onslow. I
Mhm.
took them W-9s for the organization that I was representing. And they were writing checks and sending checks. So
Okay.
it's out there. You just
can do
need
it
to
now.
start early.
All right. So we dropped the ball this year. If we're having the same problem next year, you guys going to know about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't totally drop the ball.
Yeah, okay.
Here's what occurred. We had a commitment. We had an effort that looked like our state senator He had it before the Senate. He had it there. All indications were it was going to be funded.
That's
with
right.
no problem. And then at the last minute, somehow politics got in the way of common
Yes.
sense, and
Yeah.
they said
Passed.
the budget wasn't passed.
majority that you have in.
It wasn't. It
people.
wasn't even the majority that did it.
Yeah.
The budget wasn't passed, and so they had to vote on just the particulars that they had to vote on. Everything else went by the wayside, but he worked very hard, and that's another reason why I didn't really get involved in it this year. I took it
'Cause
for
it was done.
granted, and I was wrong, but he tried very hard to get us that money out of the free budget, so to say, the free money budget,
Yep.
but and was
Okay.
very disappointed when he didn't
All
get
right.
it.
All right.
And the young man that you were talking about running the ball in for a touchdown, John Des Baker, he
Yeah.
had the big interception return for Jacksonville. He was number
Yeah,
8.
that was a nice play, and he went
Yes.
all the way in and turned the whole game around. Because once they scored, they were on top again.
And thank you, Chris Miller, for always sending me
Keeping us up to
the
speed.
info.
And so are you going to go to Havelock next week?
No,
They-
it's too far.
You
from me,
can
too
ride
far.
with us.
You can ride with us.
Too far. What, with deplorables? Right with deplorables? Are you kidding me?
My wife will
We
be
won't
with
talk
us.
about politics.
She was a Democrat. She became a deplorable, right?
She became unaffiliated.
So unaffiliated. Okay, well, that's what's that? What's that?
Unaffiliated, we hate everybody equally.
Yeah, right. All dressed up, nowhere to go. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Theo.
Take care.
Everybody has a place to go, regardless of your affiliation or lack of affiliation. As
That's
long
right.
as you're registered to vote, you've got a place
As
to
long
go.
as
It's
you
called
vote.
the polls.
That's as long as you vote. I don't care what.
All right.
But hopefully
So-
tomorrow we're going to have somebody from one of the animal rescues on here because the county has got a huge problem right now. They're crowded at the animal shelter. You know, they took
Uh-huh.
in 39 pets that were in a bad situation, and yes, and we need foster homes. And every day that I opened my social media this weekend, it was about lost dogs, found dogs, skinny dogs, dogs that were malnourished. It was baby dogs, puppies found. I can't stand it. I quit. I got off of it. I can't. It breaks my heart.
Yeah, we need some
So we need to
families out
talk
there
about that.
who can at least take care of some of these creatures.
Yes.
They are fur babies.
And go out and take a look at your yard wherever you keep your pet in. Make sure it's secure.
Oh yeah,
so
that
many
too.
pets are getting out, and it's cold.
Yeah, you walk around this yard, you find out because we normally would have gotten a fence way back when.
Right.
That would have been one of those nice looking fences that is, wooden and yada yada
Right.
yada because they look really cool,
Yes.
right? But
Don't get the
we
wood.
have a cat. A cat
Right.
can climb a wooden fence.
Yes, cat
This
can.
cat can't climb a wooden fence anymore because he's 18 plus years old.
Mine as well.
But but we got a vinyl fence. It's fine. It works. It does the job, and it's not there to be pretty. I don't think it's ugly,
Right. No,
Uh,
it's nice.
but it's it's functional,
I
and
wish
that was the
mine
reason.
vinyl.
That's the reason we got it. Is it's a functional fence,
Right.
and we got doggy doors.
Same.
I guess
Same.
we got one doggy door now.
When I put up my wooden privacy fence in the backyard, I kept my chain link fence up. It's on the other side. You
Mhm.
can't see it, but I didn't take it down because I have
Just
had
in case.
storms that have come along and blown sections of my wooden fence down,
Yeah.
which I'm fixing all that so it won't ever happen again. But
Oh, you just screwed up.
no, it won't. Because I'm using 3-inch screws plus I'm putting extra 4x4s in between the 4x4s, so it's going to be solid. But anyway, I still go out and check and make sure that something hasn't fallen or something's not broken.
Yep.
And my pup can get out. I'd be devastated.
All right, tomorrow we'll be back in here. I don't know what Sam Hill will talk about, but you can rest assured it'll be something. Come on
Animals.
down, join us for the hate and discontent.
Mhm. We
What?
need to talk about the police department in South Carolina and what happened there, and the mayor too. And we'll
What did
talk
they
about
do?
it tomorrow. Well, the whole police department resigned last
well, they
week,
probably should have.
and it was mainly due to their city council. And then several days later, the mayor was in a high speed chase with the law chasing him, and ended up driving head on into a tractor trailer, was killed instantly. And he was under investigation at the time, and the cops were chasing him for his well-being. So that's a crazy story coming out of McCall, South Carolina. Crazy.
Well, yep.
Right at
We'll
the
talk about that.
holidays.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yes.
What are you doing for Christmas? If you got everything taken care of, we give you some tips and some warning as we go through
Yes.
this holiday season. Shopping tips, not what to buy, but maybe what not to buy, and when you should get it, and again, when you should mail it to our troops overseas.
That's right.
That's a big
And
deal. It should be doing now.
the post office is not taking any mail-ins to Canada right now because the Canadian postal workers are on strike, so they're not processing anything. So if you got anything to go to Canada, hold off. The Postal Service here in the United States is not accepting anything for delivery there. And before we forget it, tonight, 6 p.m. at the county government building, county commissioners meeting, they will be swearing in 2 new commissioners and 2 that were reelected.
And if you show up for that, once they're sworn in, you can swear at them.
Why not? That'll make it fun.
All right, we will see you tomorrow morning at
Phew.
7 o'clock, and we'll stay on until we get tired. You're live and local, Real Talk, and we're right here on Facebook and YouTube every day.
Mhm.
And we're still working on that project. As soon as I can get a 5th grader in here who knows about software and get some other things done, then we'll be back up on much, much more. So if anybody has a 5th grader who's really adept at being able to follow software and install it on these multitude of computers that we have in here, oh Lord, I got to get somebody who can just
I need
fix
to
all
get my
this stuff one of these
son-in-law to
days.
come in. He used to write code for programs.
Well, I got a nephew used to
Okay.
do the same thing.
All
Maybe
right.
maybe I can put
Bring them
but I
both in.
have to put handcuffs on him,
Oh,
not to keep him from stealing anything, just to keep him from not adding stuff here that we probably don't want on here. Yeah, he worked for one of those places.
that could be fun.
Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk animals and other nonsense tomorrow when we get here at 7 o'clock in the morning. Be safe and stay warm. Bye.